Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my presentation. My name is Abyan Banu Hermawan. I am a student of Universitas Pinasarana Informatika, studying in English literature. Today's project, we will be talking about two topics. The first one being intransitive and transitive phrasal verbs, the second one being case study analysis of collective noun. So, part one, we're going to go into intransitive and transitive phrasal verbs first. What is a phrasal verb? According to Spring R, phrasal verbs are a combination of verbs with one or more particles that are usually adverbs or prepositions that form a new meaning from the combination of the two words. Based on the two main types, phrasal verbs are divided into two: intransitive phrasal verb and transitive phrasal verb. According to Colarier from 2015, the difference between transitive and intransitive phrasal verbs can be seen from the object where the transitive phrasal verb require objects and intransitive phrasal verbs do not require objects. In addition, it can also be seen from the position of the particle. In transitive phrasal verbs, particles can move if the object is a noun, but it cannot move if the object is a pronoun. Arjosian Lau from 2024 explained that phrasal verbs are used more in informal contexts such as conversations or dialogue in novels. This is intended to provide a more natural and idiomatic feeling to English. In literary works, the use of phrasal verbs provides a more lively and dynamic nuance of meaning. So let's get on to the two main types of phrasal verbs. First one is intransitive phrasal verbs. The definition is that intransitive verb is a verb phrase that does not require a direct object. The sentence is conveyed with the subject and phrasal verb itself. The sources is from Gunung Jati Conference Series, Volume 60 by Eva Meldikosum and Fani Fauzia. And its functions, according to Z. Lu and J. Sun from 2015, is that intransitive verbs have particles that play a role in changing the meaning of the base verb, so that its meaning often cannot be guessed only from the meaning of the cons- constituent words. And as for the structure of the intransitive verb, it consists of a verb or one or more particles. The particle can be a preposition or an adverb. Examples: the first one being wake up, verb plus particle, I woke up early this morning, and the second being break down, which is the same, verb plus particle. The car broke down on the highway. As you can see, intransitive phrasal verbs do not need any objects because it already conveys what it's trying to deliver. And the source is from Relationships Between Transitive and Intransitive Verbs in English Language by Teddy Victorious. The second one is transitive phrasal verb. So the definition of transitive verbs, they are verb phrases that require a direct object to complete their meaning. So it's a complete opposite of the intransitive verb. This object functions as the recipient of the action carried out by the subject through the verb. Without an object, the meaning of the sentence becomes ambiguous, unclear, or incomplete. The source is the same from Gunung Jati Conference Series, Volume 60. The function is that transitive phrasal verb can be placed between the verb and the particle or after the particle, depending on its form. Thus, the position of the object in transitive phrasal verb is flexible unless the object is a pronoun. The source is from the same journal. As for the structure, it's instead categorized by separable and inseparable types. So, as we discussed before, it requires an object and can either be separable or inseparable. So, the first one is separable, which is turn the TV off or turn off the TV. And inseparable, she looked up the word, I ran into him. And the source is the same as before, which is Relationship Between Transitive and Intransitive Verbs in English Language by Teddy Victorious. So there are five examples on how they can be used. We're gonna focus on intransitive verb first. Like we discussed before, it expresses actions that don't transfer to an object, meaning they can stand alone or are followed by modifiers. For example, we can turn a simple sleep into he slept soundly, or cry, the baby cried, laugh, they laughed out loud, bark, the dogs barked, and we walked to the shores. Can you and walk? I'm sorry, walked turns to we walked the shores. And finally, transitive phrasal verbs. It's more direct and requires more to complete the meaning. And as we discussed, without an object, the meaning can sound ambiguous or incomplete. The first one, here's an example. So if we used picked up, it obviously needed an object for it to be complete. So let's say the object is a wand. He picked up his wand. So if you don't use any objects in transitive phrasal verbs, it won't mean anything, and it just means absolute gibberish. So you don't want to accidentally say he picked up his nothing, just blank. You cannot do that. So the next one is put on, and we can use best clothes for this. He put on his best clothes. The same can be the same can be said for took off, where she took off her glasses, turned up, I turned up the radio, and turned off, he turned off the lights. As you can see, all of these needs an object in order for the sentence to be complete. After understanding the fundamentals of intransitive verbs, intransitive and transitive phrasal verbs and functions, we can now know how to differentiate, use, and focalize them in our everyday lives. Phrasal verbs are integral to communicating in the English language. Next up is finally part two. We have the case study analysis of collective noun. So, what is collective noun? According to the semantic features of collective nouns in English by Tran He Thuyon and Thuy Thi Phi Thuyen, collective nouns are kinds of nouns depending on their meaning. They are distinct terms used to describe a particular collection of things and play a significant role in English. The term collective noun refers to a collection of things, people, animals, or ideas that form a single notion or entity. The next one is the functions of collective noun. It's from the same journal, the semantic features of collective nouns in English. We have 2 points right here. So the first one is semantic features and teaching utility. Collective nouns are semantically specific, often denoting groups of humans, animals, or objects. For non-native speakers, they pose challenges due to specificity, but improve vocabulary efficiency when taught explicitly. Integrating them into pedagogy strengthens semantic networks and overall word knowledge. And then the next one is conceptual plurality in comprehension and processing. Collective nouns are represented as conceptually plural entities, despite the singular form. This influences the language processing, where groups are treated as multiple units internally, affecting the comprehension and potentially vocabulary retention by highlighting dual, singular or plural representations. And then finally, for the last one, I will be analyzing the collective nouns. There are five of these, so I will be going down by one. So, the first one, the committee has approved the proposal. So, what this means is that the committee acts as a unified body making one decision. So, the singular has emphasizes the collective agreement. And then the jury was divided in its decision. So, the jury's this division highlights individual members' differing opinions. Warranting the singular was for the group, despite the plural pronoun its implying separation. A swarm of insects covered the field. A swarm of insects functions instinctively as one mass, so requiring the single covered as unified action. The audience clapped loudly. The audience responds to together in applause, treating the group unit with the singular clap. The the staffs are attending a workshop today. The staff's individual attendance at a workshop stresses personal actions, justifying the plural are. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all learned something from this, and see you guys next time. Bye.